Good day, welcome to another day. All right. So today I want us to talk about, how to reduce poultry mortality. This is very important for those of the people who are into poultry farming. Yes, and those who want to go into poultry farming, I want to share with you how you can, reduce poultry mortality, death. How can you, reduce, death of your chicken? From the different production activity that you carry on. So just follow me for more of this kind of discussion. I always share the page and invite other people always to be able to follow the page so that we all can grow together. We are building a community of practice and learners, so we always can do better together. All right. Yeah. So let's move into this. Poultry mortality is one major challenge. That smallholder farmers are faced with, all right? Yes, because dealing with birds that are always dying from different kind of issues, is something painful, but this is a reality, and the only thing is you need to know what to do. But this is it, all right? Even with all the challenges farmers are faced with in terms of poultry mortality, you can still find a way to prevent these deaths. Yes, there is a way you can prevent, mortality on your farm. And how can you do that? You can do that through good management, proper nutrition, and disease prevention. With these three things, when you do it, perfectly, you can reduce poultry mortality. Yes. But let me share with you more details. Most chickens do not die because they are weak. All right? But they die because simple management mistakes are always overlooked. So what happens? You lose your chicken. So if you reduce these mistakes, you will not have the kind of death that many smallholder farmers are, experiencing daily. So this is why I want to share with you how, you can reduce mortality at your farm, whether from a small scale to a large scale. All right. And here are the management practices that you need to follow to avoid, huge scale mortality on your farm. The number one thing you need to always follow is your vaccination schedule. Yes, you always need to vaccinate your chicken in a due time. Yes, the weeks or the months that it's supposed to be to vaccinate them for a particular disease, you always need to follow that if you want to reduce mortality. Vaccinating them against common diseases, all right, like Newcastle disease, all right, tomorrow, and doing them following veterinary guides provided by the experts is very necessary in order to reduce the mortality, which is also against your own business interest. You always need to understand that prevention is always cheaper than losing all of your flocks. Yes. And the number two things you need to always practice to reduce or avoid large scale mortality on your farm is to always clean your poultry house. That is very important. All right. And this is a very important step to take to prevent diseases, because when the house is dirty of different kind of things, you find out that diseases can just come about. The outbreak is easy. The possibility is very high. So what you need to do is to always remove regularly the poultry droppings, that the chicken poops. All right. You always disinfect the house, and make sure you clean the feeders, the drinkers, the different things. Clean them so that they are clean and they are disease free. Because if you keep them dirty, it becomes a host for some of the things that could cause the diseases that could damage your flocks. Remember this, all right? That a very clean environment reduces disease risk or outbreak. You need to understand this, all right? So always make sure your place is clean, the house is clean, all right? Yes. And number three, you need to always provide clean water and quality feed. The food or whatever the chickens consume, it has a part to play in terms of their health. All right. Yes. Like the food and water you give your chicken also can cause trouble for them. Trouble that can lead to their death. So you always need to be careful what to give them. Yes, this is very important. Make sure that the water is very clean, and then the feed you're giving them is a feed that is of balanced diet, and they are also high quality. All right. Make sure you give them clean and fresh water, not water that has been kept into different places and exposed to different conditions you give them. Taking because they are animals, so they don't deserve something good, you are leading them to mortality. So you have to make sure you are giving them fresh and clean water, a balanced diet, quality feed. Then you also need to have enough feeders and drinkers so that they will not be competing for, the food and the water. Yes. Please note this. Poor nutrition weakens birds and increases mortality. Yes. This is very important. I want you to take note of that. Number 4 things you need to also, observe is to avoid overcrowdedness in your poultry house. All right. Make sure that the appropriate numbers of chickens or chicks be placed in the required, space. Because if you have more birds or more chickens in a small place, it causes some issues. And let me share with you what happens. There will be an issue of stress. So all the chicken will be stressed. They will not be able to move freely. They will be, there will be a lot of discomfort. All right. Yes. Easily diseases will be able to spread from one place to another or one chicken to another. Yes. And there will be poor growth. For them to grow, faster, it will be kind of challenge because in terms of discomfort and movement, poor growth will be the kind of thing that you would experience. And then what will happen is that they're going to be increasing death. Yes. Those are the things that happen when you have them placed in small space, and when they are many. So please avoid that. And you have to remember that you need to give birth. Always give birth, the birds enough space, as per their age and depth. Yes. So those are people who do poultry production or in school will understand that spacing is very important. And you want to go to farming, whether you went to school or not, you need to understand this and learn how to do it. Or probably get a very good expert who could do that setup for you. And if you need that, we can talk about it. Yes. And number 5 things you also need to always practice, to avoid or reduce mortality is good ventilation. So whatever poultry house you have constructed or you have, there should be good ventilation. Because when there is good ventilation, fresh air will come in and will be able to take away excess heat. All right. Moisture and harmful gases like ammonia. Yes. You need to be concerned with that. So you don't need to enclose it where there's no breeze coming in, and so the whole place is, occupied with different kind of gases, excess heat, and all kind of conditions that could cause an outbreak or discomfort. So ventilation is important in terms of poultry house design. And number 6 thing you need to practice to reduce mortality is strong, biosecurity. When you hear biosecurity, it's about what you do to keep the birds safe and prevented or protected from, external issues. You have to always take some actions to secure your birds, and these actions must include disinfecting, your footwears and equipments. Always regularly do that. Don't just move from anywhere and just walk in the poultry house. You have to disinfect. So there are, substances or solutions that you can use to disinfect. And you always have to limit visitor coming in your poultry house. All right. Don't just allow people to walk in the poultry house. All right. You have to limit that so that they don't come with strange or issues that could affect the bird. Whenever there is a chicken that is now okay, you observe that, you have to isolate that. All right. Make sure you take away the sick birds so that they will not be able to spread diseases and other things to the ones that are not sick or healthy. So it's good to always do that as a biosecurity measures. Yes. And you have always do everything to prevent diseases from entering your farm. I want to encourage you to always do that if you want to gain. All right. If you want your birds to remain healthy, alive, and then sold for profit making, you have to always do everything possible, okay, to keep your birds alive and keep away diseases. And the 7th thing I want to share that could also help is to always observe your birds every day. Every day, make sure you are looking and checking. All right. You need to look for signs like loss of appetite. There will be some birds that don't want to eat. You need to see that as a sign of something. You always need to be looking out for that. There are some birds that will drooping wings, and you understand that they are not okay. They may be sick, and that's a sign for you to take action immediately. Some of them will also be coughing and sneezing. That's a sign. Yes, those are signs. Even as human, we know that when someone is coughing or sneezing, it's a sign that there is a problem. And problem that needs action. So always check for diarrhea. There will be time that the birds will be dropping, and you see the droppings to look like watery with some colors. It shows that there's diarrhea. Or also, check for death. If you find out that there are so many chickens that just die, like unusual death, you have to see that as a sign and a message to take action to prevent the spread. All right, those are all important, and that is why you always need to visit your poultry house and make sure you are observing everything, including everything except the price. That's it. All right. Early detection can help to prevent the spread of disease and other issues across the entire farm. So it's good to always make sure you are observing to detect anything that resembles an issue that must be addressed immediately and appropriately. Now let me tell you this, all right? The easier way to make more money in poultry farming is not always to buy more chicks to bring in your poultry house, but to always do what you need to do to keep the one you have alive. That is something you must hold on to and believe in so strongly. I hope that got to you very well. So thank you so much. This is just what to do to reduce poultry mortality, and wherein you can always increase your profit and probably your income as well, because this is very critical. Have a good day, and I will see you next time.